Ooh, let's do this. Oh, that focus though. All right, so Friday, let's do some Q&A stuff. Let's talk about all kinds of goodness. One thing that I get a lot of is people asking, hey, I'm new to your channel, I want to get into FPV. What is the best way to get into FPV? Now, this is going to be subjective to every single person that you ask, who is going to say, oh, well, you need to go out and buy all this. Hey, you need to go do this. If you're interested in FPV and you want to get into FPV and you're psyched on it, first thing I can suggest, and this is my path, this is if someone came to me and said, hey, what would be your path from start to finish? Finish being you and all the gear that you have, start being I have nothing, I want to get into it. Start to finish, first thing I would do, I would tell someone to go out and buy a nice yet cheap radio. There are two options in my book. Q7X, $108, the X9D, which is the Tranus, which is what I use, which is $200. So you're going to spend 200 bucks at most. You're going to buy a USB cable that you probably have lying around, USB mini. You're going to plug it in, you're going to download a free simulator, or even pay $5 for a simulator. God forbid you have to pay $5 for a simulator to try something that you've never done. Come on, I know you go to Xbox Live and you download all those freaking avatars with thongs and stuff, you know, just all that hoochie avatar situation. You can spend $5 on a simulator to get into something that gets you outside climbing trees, trying to track down quads and whatnot. So, with that being said, you have a radio, which you're not going to outgrow. You can use it immediately as soon as you graduate to the next level, so you don't have to worry about it. If at most you decide you hate the thing, you throw it on the ground and break it, you're out $100. Yeah, you got a simulator radio, spend a couple days on that, learn in acro mode immediately. Do not go into angle mode or anything like that. Just get in acro mode, start fiddling around with it. Once you're comfortable flying around on the simulator, I would probably say maybe 2 to 8 to 10 days flying on a simulator. Get used to it, understand that, hey, this really is something I would like to do. Then I would recommend going and starting doing research on building your quad. Building a 5-inch quad. I wouldn't build anything smaller, I wouldn't get a tiny whoop, I wouldn't get a Phantom. I would start looking at building a 5-inch quadcopter because it's the most versatile platform that you can get. There are probably going to be people that are going to argue with me, but as far as power to weight ratio, being able to carry an HD camera, which I know a lot of you guys are going to want to do, the 5-inch is the way to go. I'm sorry, but that's the bottom line. 5-inch quad. Look into buying a 5-inch quad. Go start doing research. Go watch all your favorite FPV pilots. Start looking in their description. Start going back 6 months, maybe even a year. See how much their setup has changed in the last year. Understand that people's setups are going to change, but also understand that people that change setups frequently are probably not running reliable setups. So, with that being said, you want something that is reliable and you want something that is very consistent. You want something that is consistently the same in the air. Very similar to like your simulator was. Your simulator is consistently the same, exactly the same, every single time you pick it up, every single time you fly. Unless you adjust settings, it flies exactly the same, and it's a very perfect world scenario. So that's what you're looking for. You're looking for something that flies very much like a computer in the air. You don't want things to be flopping and wobbling all over the place and you chasing your tail trying to figure out how to, oh, it's doing this, it's oscillating, I can't get away from it, it's just breaking all the time. You want to get something that is quality, and I can't state that enough. If you go to Banggood, you buy all this cheap crap, you are definitely funding a thing that nobody in the hobby likes. You're also funding a thing that is potentially taking away from growing the hobby because you're giving these, I hate to say it, but Chinese succubuses. The Banggood situation, I just can't stress enough. I will not order from Banggood. I'm sorry, Banggood, but you guys just copy everything, and they're GearBest, all these guys. You just copy stuff, sell it as cheap as possible. It's not cool. Stop doing it. But that being said, they're not going to stop, so don't buy from them. Go out of your way and go research. Find some stuff that you like the way it is. You like what it is. You like how it looks. You like the people that use it, and you can trust it. Now, you're not ever going to be able to 100% trust something, but you can try your best. So with that being said, you have a 5-inch quad now. You've built it. You didn't buy a ready-to-fly quad. You build your first quad so you understand how it goes together. You understand how, when it crashes, because it will, you can fix it. Once you fix it, again, because you're going to crash immediately, you go out and you try again. But you understand, you know how it works, you know how it goes together. It's all a working organism. You understand how to fly because you practice on the simulator. You understand how to build. You understand how to repair. and you understand, hey, these guys that I'm watching and looking up to also use this gear, so if I have any questions, maybe they have a video that I could look at. That is cool, and the fact that if you don't have gear that nobody uses, you're not going to be able to find any information on it, and that makes your life harder. So buy something that people are using that is easy to find information on. Yes, that is the path that I would say to take to flying mini quads. That is the path that I would tell anybody to take. So that is the path that I say, I'm gonna Johnny Depp you. You need to take it. Okay, so let's move on. One thing that I know a lot of people are asking, and I don't want to spend a lot of time on this video, I'm going to try to get it through as quickly as possible, is lithium polymer batteries. A lot of people ask me on what kind of chargers I use, what kind of storage voltage I use, like do I go to storage voltage, what batteries do I use. So I'll start off. These are Thunderpower 1300 Adrenaline series. These are the Mr. Steele version. They don't cost anymore. They just have a different tag on them. I'm not throwing my name on it and upcharging it so I can get money out of your pocket. It's literally the same exact price. It just has a mustache on it. It was done as a joke. I thought it was cool. They were like, yeah, we can make it, whatever, cool, do it. So anyways, it is a thing. There are Ripping Balls batteries with mustaches on them on Thunderpower's website. This is a 1300 4S. It's one of the lightest 1300 4Ss on the market, and that's why I use it. It's 148 grams, and it has best punch for power to weight ratio that I've ever found, and that's why I use it for freestyle. Again, my setup is not going to be best for everybody's setup. If you're flying races and you only need it to fly for a minute and a half, be my guest, do whatever you want. Buy the cheapest batteries in the world because they're not going to last very long. These last a long time, and they are very high quality, and they're lightweight, and that's why I use them. One little thing that I do really enjoy, the little holder for the battery balance lead, and then also I put dates on the back of my batteries and numbers to number the battery in the setup in the little group of batteries that I all pulled in at the same time. So I had 10 batteries that I pulled in, started using. This was on February 1st, 2017. Started flying these batteries. I can keep track of, hey, number 5, I've like punctured a cell and I know. So when I start flying the battery, I can be like, oh, look, number 5, I need to know that I don't need to fly over water with number 5 because it could go out at any moment. That is why I number the cells. That's why I number all of my batteries and keep track of them, and also switch them out when something happens to them. Especially if you're flying over sketchy areas, I would recommend taking your best batteries and flying over sketchy areas. That being said, light lithium polymer storage voltage, I don't really do anything with storage voltage. I charge on an i406, what is it? iCharger 406 Duo, and I have an i206B, and I use the HP little power source. All the stuff's listed in the description below. You guys can check it out. Again, all of my setup and everything is listed in the description below, even the camera that I'm using right now, which is the Panasonic GH5. It's a pretty cool camera. All that stuff is listed in the description below. If you have any questions, go check it out. And all of this stuff, as far as batteries are concerned, I try to charge as efficiently as possible. The i406 Duo, you can charge 2 different sets in parallel, and I charge 12 batteries at a time. They can be at different voltages, it just doesn't matter. But when I land, I try to land at 15 volts. When I charge up to 16.8 volts. When I store to 15.4 volts, but I hardly ever do that because I usually fly the batteries down to 15 volts and leave them there for a couple days. That's not going to hurt them. I haven't had any problems with leaving batteries at 15 volts for even 2 to 3 weeks at a time. I would just recommend, if you're going to try to put them at 15.4, but you know, if they're at 15 or 14.9, they're probably going to be okay. Now, if you do discharge a battery like 13 volts, don't leave it there for a long period of time. That will hurt it. And don't leave your batteries fully charged for a long period of time. And when I say a long period of time, probably 2 to 3 days is a long period of time. If your batteries are fully charged and they've been fully charged for 2 to 3 days, again, I'm not a LiPo expert, I'm just telling you based off of experience. If your batteries have been fully charged for 2 to 3 days, you're probably going to notice a serious power decrease when you go out and fly them. If your batteries have been sitting at 13 volts for 2 to 3 days, you're probably going to hurt the battery in the long run, and it's not going to get as many cycles. So that's done. Let's not talk about batteries anymore. Let's go ahead and delve into the setup that I use, because I know a lot of people are asking. Even though I've done videos on this numerous times, I still want to do a quick little tutorial on why I use the stuff I use and what I use. So first off, let's start with the radio. So this is the Taranis X9D, and it has the Hall sensor M9 gimbals. The Hall sensor is basically just a more precise way to measure the movement in the stick here. I have a 5 dBi modification, which is essentially all it is a little piece of coax cable soldered onto the pads where the original coax cable was, comes up to an SMA connector, and then on an, well, it's RPSMA connector, and then on the RPSMA connector you can put whatever antenna you want. I particularly like to run this Wi-Fi 5 dBi antenna. It gives me a little bit more range, a little bit more consistent range, and a little bit more confidence in my radio link. Again, it is kind of a pain in the butt. It's a little big, and you have to detach it to put it away. So it is kind of a little bit of a pain in the ass, but at the same time, I like it. I run a 3S battery in here, and that is it as far as the radio is concerned. I just painted it, nothing special about it. Let's go into the goggles really quickly. So these are the HD Fat Shark HD Dominator V2s, and I do like the V2s the most because of the field of view. It has the largest field of view, and it worked with my eyes. The one thing that I can say about Fat Sharks is, in general, you need to buy something that works with your head shape and eye distance. I know I have a very narrow IPD, which stands for interpupillary distance. Mine is like 58 millimeters from the center of one pupil to the center of the other pupil, and it's very difficult for me to find goggles, especially Fat Sharks, that will go that narrow. I have mine fully maxed out in the IPD range, and I still sometimes will get blurry edges depending on the goggle. This goggle just seems to work really well. On the HDV1s, I actually had to cut the goggle open, not cut it open, but open it up and squeeze the things in a little bit tighter so that I can get it to work. You can modify whatever you want. I don't recommend it, but you know, you can go to a store hopefully and try on some stuff. The HDV3 is pretty much kind of made things a little bit easier, so don't take everything that I say, take it with a grain of salt as far as like, oh, my head's weird, I don't know if I'm going to be able to fit in these goggles. It's probably going to work, but for the most part, for me personally, it's just been going in, trying new things and saying, oh, I like this, oh, I really like the field of view on the HD Dominator V2s, and I really love the Hello Kitty. So even if I didn't have the perfect vision, I would still rock them, because the Hello Kitty, what are you going to do? This is the LaForge V2. And it's got this new door, which is not 3D printed. I think they come with them now. Super psyched. Bruce at freaking UBAD. Wow, sorry, like just totally just slipped my mind. Bruce at UBAD. This is an amazing product. I've been rocking LaForge for a while now. If you don't know what a LaForge is, it's basically a little. They have an OLED screen here that kind of gives you the readout of your channel, what channel you're on. You can change channels. You can band scan. You can do all kinds of stuff, and it's a diversity module. So you have one receiver here, one receiver over here. You can run a higher gain antenna, which would enable you to get a better range in a specific direction versus an omnidirectional antenna, which will go all around you and get a very, very consistent and I guess round, cylindrical style radiation pattern, where you're going to be able to receive things all around you, versus this is going to be better received straight out, kind of like a pie chart. Great stuff. Love their products, especially with the doors now. They listened finally and got rid of the 3D printed crap, and it's looking good now. Now this is one thing that a lot of people ask about. This is my audio source. I listen to what the quad does because it gives me an extra sense on board. I can hear if there's a problem with the quad. I can hear if there's something clipping in the props. I can hear if the quad's being weak. I don't have to look at the OSD all the time because I can tell by the audio of the quad that the battery's getting low. All of this stuff down to the audio. So you're getting visual and you're getting an audible sound coming from the quad. And again, there is a microphone on the quad. I'm not listening to music. This is actually coming from the quadcopter itself in audio form. And then one last thing is this, which is the Fat Shark 2000 milliamp Thunder Power battery, and I like the 2000 milliamp one over the 4000. 4000 is a little fat, a little heavy, kind of weighs down the side of your head. The 2000 one's really good. And I guess you need to know what antenna this is. This is VAS Mad Mushroom, which is a 5-lobe circular polarized antenna by Ivy Crazy or Alex Greaves. Very, very, very nice antenna. I've been using that for 2 years. And then this is the 8 dBi Immersion RC patch antenna. As far as that goes, yeah, that thing's been pretty consistent for the last, I don't know, even year probably. I've been running those two things. And this quad I've been running for 16 months. As far as the frame is concerned, some things have changed, like ESCs and motors and whatnot, but pretty much it's the same thing. I'll do a quick rundown of what I'm using in my quadcopter. and then we will be done. So first off, this is a 5-inch Alien frame made by Impulse RC. This is not a Martian. This is an Alien made by Impulse RC, which is the very first person to do this style frame, which is a kind of combination of an X and an H styled body. I know someone's gonna argue with me. Just listen to me. This is it. This is the OG awesome frame. It literally put waves through the whole freaking industry when it came out. The camera mount is fantastic. So when you buy a Martian, you're buying a copy of this, and it doesn't have the camera mount, which the camera mount's like 80% of the selling point for me. So yeah, 5-inch Alien, 5-inch body, and we'll run KISS FC with KISS 24 amp ESCs, and my motors, the Mr. Steele Silks, the 2306 2345 kV. And then I'm running HQ 5040 by 3 tri-blades, V1S PC props, and I like the PC prop because it gives you like 3 beers deep style confidence flying around. You don't have to worry about clipping little scragglers or branches and stuff. You can always return to home pretty much, even if the prop is bent. And I do cut a piece of prop and put it on top of the ESCs to protect in case the stuff gets bent down, it won't chop into the ESC. Now, the only other things that are on this thing are the FPV gear, which is the Rotor Riot Run Cam with that GoPro 2.5mm lens. Also the Unify Pro 5V version from Team Black Sheep, which is a really good video transmitter. I run it at 800 milliwatts all the time, never had a problem with it overheating or burning out. Just, I don't know, people are gonna argue with me, but I haven't had any problems. This is, you gotta make sure it's ventilated. Don't like stuff it in a little hole or anything. Obviously it's gonna burn up if you stuff it in a hole. This is the Triumph antenna by TABS. You know, another really high performing antenna that is very durable. Literally broken like one, and it got chopped by another quadcopter that hit me. And then I have an X4R for my receiver from the Tyrannus, and then the only other thing on there is the PMP50, which is the OSD, which if you don't know what an OSD is, it stands for on-screen display. It gives you the battery voltage, the milliamp consumption, and the current consumption, and the time flown all on the screen, so I know when to land and I'm not over discharging my batteries. And yeah, I mean, the PMP50 will be something that I'll probably be switching out here in the next couple months, because I do have a special PDB coming from Impulse RC that will have all of the KISS telemetry built into it. So you'll literally plug in the 2 little access ports here on the side from the KISS FC directly into the PDB, and you'll have all OSD or anything you want. You'll have audio, you'll have everything that you basically get from this PMP50. But it'll be all built into the PDB that comes with the Alien. So yeah, great product. The PMP50 I've been flying for over 1.5 years now. No, 2.5 years I've been flying the PMP50. It was on my very first FPV mini quad, and it still has been on there, so I swear by it. I like the simplicity of it. It works for me, and yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. These are antenna tubes that I cut holes in and run 45-degree angle, so I get optimum polarization at all times. Yeah, battery died. If you guys have any questions or comments or anything, if you want to give me a thumbs up, that really helps me out. If you want to share this video, that really helps me out. If you think this video was helpful, then please put it in the comments below. And thank you guys for watching. I am now going to try to get ready to go to Charleston to hang out with Phil Freibut and Stinger Swarm. We need to get out there. It's already almost 3 o'clock, and we have a 5-hour drive. So let's do it.
For the